Hello guys, welcome back. So as part of today's video we are going to talk about SXA rendering variants and how we can get started with it. So if you know about SXA, but if you are new to rendering variants, then I think this video should help you out, because we'll try to cover up, we'll try to see what rendering variants are, and then we'll also create one simple one simple rendering variant based on an already existing SXA component. So yeah, let's start with that. So um, so when we talk about rendering variants, right, so what are exactly these SX rendering variants? So rendering variants are configurable adaptations which you can use to present your components differently. So let's say we have a video component, right? So let's say as part of the video component we want to show a video, and then we want to show a title of it and then a link also with that video. So what we can do, we can make use of SX in the SXA. What we can do, we can make use of out of the box available video component, and then let's say we want to have different variants of the same component. Instead of creating different views to present our component differently in different scenarios, what we can do in SXA, we can create rendering variants here, right? So, and rendering variant something, it is very simple, and it is very easy to use, and even your front-end guys and your content editors can also do that, and they can create their own rendering variants based on their requirements. So let's just get started with that. So here, this is my sample application, and this is the test page I have. If I just open this page, I just have a static header and a static footer here, so nothing beyond that. So what I want to do here is I'll just configure an existing out of the box SXA component, which is image in this case. So let's just do that. So what I'll do is I'll just go to experience editor, which I am already there in this page. So what I'll do is I'll just click here and try to add one component, which is image component. So let me just drag and drop this component here, and it will ask me to create to specify a data source for that. So I already have few data source item created for this image component. So let me just select image 1 from that and click on OK. Okay, so at this point you see like we have this image component configured, which basically it is it is showing and banner image at this point of time. So from this point of time, let me just save it and then see how this page looks. Right, so we have we have this header, we have this footer, and then we have this component, right? So now at this point of time, you see like we just have this banner image, like we don't have any link for that, we don't have any description and anything like that. So now you can assume like we have a requirement where we want to add a link also for that, right? So what we can do in SXA is we don't have to write any code for that, and we just need to create a rendering variant, and we can just do it without writing even a single line of code, right? So yeah, let's just see how we can do that. So let's just go here again. So to create so basically it's not like that out whatever components we have with SXA, right, all the components support rendering variants. So there are the list of components which supports rendering variants. So all those lists you can find as part of your presentation node. So if I go to sandbox shared, and then we have this presentation, and in the presentation you will see we have rendering variants. So all these so all these are the components which supports rendering variants. So for this demo we are, as I mentioned, like we are going to talk about the image component. So we see here if I expand image, we have just this default rendering variant. So if I go back to my component here you see like whatever component is rendered currently, it is based on the default rendering variant, which is default in this case, right? Now let's just try to create some more variants of this component. So when I say variant, one variant could be that we want an image, and with that image we also want a link there. Another rendering variant would be like we just need an image, and then that image can be clickable. So those kind of things we can do. So to create a rendering variant, what we have to do is we just have to go to that rendering variant section, which is inside your presentation, and then your rendering variants, and then you go for which component you want to create your variant, which is image in this case, right? So what you can do is you can just click on right click, and yeah, before that let me just show you. So if I click on this one, let me just go to that component, and you see currently we just have the default rendering variant. So as soon as you create a rendering variant for your specific component, you will start seeing all those variant definition as part of this drop down here. So let's just quickly do that. So to create a rendering variant, what we have to do is we just have to go to that section, right click, and then select our variant definition, because we are going to create a variant definition in this case, right? So let's just call that variant definition as banner with link, for example. Sorry, right? So yeah, this is just a name which we have given. Now, so this is a with this we have created a new variant, but now to have this variant we also need some supporting fields for that. So basically this variant will render what kind of fields. So in this case, if you just want to take a reference for the default variant, we have this image and image caption, right? Similarly, what we can do here is we can also so let's say we want this banner with link. So what we can do, we can just create so when you click on this variant definition and you click on insert, you will get different options to create different types of items here, like different types of items. Like in this case, for example, we can create a field, we can create a date item, we can create a section just like a placeholder, and then we can create a scribbing item there where you can just put your complete HTML there. So all different options we have, and in future we'll talk about all these things also. But as part of this demo, let's just focus on the field item here. So click on this field and just give it some name. So in this case, I'm just going to give it a name as image. So yeah, we have this image populated. So so if you go to the definition of this item, which is based on variant field, so your parent item is based on your variant definition template, and inside that you will see you have a variant field item created. So this variant field item, we have a tag, right? So how exactly this particular field will get wrapped, so which basically it gets wrapped inside a div. So this particular item will populate its value from which field. So wherever, in whichever context you are actually going to configure this component, with that context or that particular data source, this field has to be there, like image field has to be there. Then there are other fields, anyways we are not going to go over all these things, like we have prefix, suffix, and then yeah, this is important. So we have CSS class. So let's say if you want to specify something, you want to have a specific CSS for this particular field image, then you can define your class here. If you want to have your specific data attributes to be controlled for this component, you can define your data attributes here, and same thing goes for your link attributes also. So at this point of time, I'm just leaving everything as is. I'm not going to make any changes to this image field. Let me just add one more field here, like insert, and then add another field, and we can just call it as target URL, right? And then click on OK. And then yeah, so from the definition perspective, it is all same. Like we have it basically this get wrapped inside a div tag. The field name is target URL and all that thing. So another important thing to note here is from where exactly on what basis we are populating this target URL. So target URL basically gets populated based on the type of the data source item which we are going to use for this image component. So for this image component, if you see, if I go to my home and then test page item, where I'm going to, where I have configured this component. So this is the data source item for that image component, right? So this is an image component, and if you see, like we have an image field, we have a URL field, and we have a caption field here. So these are the three fields which we get out of the box with this component, and this is the URL field, right? So if I click on this template, and if you want to check the definition of this template, let's just wait for it. So you can see, like we have this image, we have a target URL, and we have an image caption. So yeah, this is the field name which we have to specify there. So that's what we have done here while defining the field definition for this variant field, so which is target URL in this case. So once we are done, you can just click on save, and then you just go back to your page, and then Let's just wait for it. Okay, it's loading. Right, so now we can see, let's just go to that component quickly and just see the variant. So now we see we have this banner with link. So in the default you see, like, we just have, we just have this image component here, like, sorry, we just have this banner image coming here. There is no link at all. But if you see here, now we have an option to configure this component as in banner with link. So which means we will have this the banner will be there, along with there will be one link also will be there. So what we can do, we can just select this variant, which is banner with link, and once you select this banner with link, you will get an option to basically control the link for that, right? So this is the read mode, which is already populated. In this case, I can just show you quickly. So this is image one. We have URL, which is pointing to some articles page, and if I just click on this insert link once again, you can see, like, we have this description as read more, right? So the same description you see here, we have read more, and you want to control this thing, you can want to change it, and all those things you can do. So now from this point, if I try to refresh it, load it, and wow, nothing happens. Let me just do that once again. Let me just save this one. Right, so we see, like, we have this read more link coming here. So now once we have our different fields populated here, we can apply SXA themes to control how exactly we want to style our different different elements of it. Maybe we want to have this read more link to come on the extreme right, somewhere in the on the middle, or in the top also. So those kind of things we can do. So this is one example, right? Second variant could be, let me just go here and let's just create another variant, which is again variant definition. So let's just call it as banner with image, right? So let's just call it as banner with image, which means we will have an image field for this one, right? And yeah, so this is again it will basically come from your image field, and then there won't be any caption for that, right? So in this default thing, you can see, like, we have the image caption, but in this case we don't want any caption also. So now we have two different variants created, one with just image, one with link. And in this thing, banner with image variant, we just have an image which is pointing to this image field name there. So from here, if I refresh this page and try to see what other options are available for me to configure this variant. So let's just go and just select the component and just see the variant. Now we see we have banner with image and banner with link here. So if I select this banner with image, right, so now I see just this image component. Let me just quickly save it, and let's just go back to this page. Now before I refresh it, you see, like, this is banner with link variant. If I refresh it, you see, like, I don't have anything in here, like, it's just an image component, right? So don't get confused with this version of it and the initial version which we had, because there the caption was not populated. Otherwise we would have seen that caption also in the first view also. But this view is different, because even in this view, even if we have the caption populated there as part of a data source item, it won't get populated here, because the variant which we're using, it just support only image there. So yeah, this is what I just wanted to show you, and it is then up to your imagination how you want to control it. It's also depends on the requirement, how you want, what kind of variants you want to keep. And let me just quickly do that. Go here and refresh this. Let me just see if I get this link again. Yeah, so we have this read more link. And what we can also do is, let's say if I go back to my variant with link, right, you also have an option. Basically this is a complete structure on what the way you will create your fields here, then the same structure you will see all your fields being populated on the front end also. So currently we have image and target URL. Same way you see like we have this image and target URL. Now let's say you want your link to be displayed first and then the image, so that is also possible. So the only thing which you have to do, you just have to bring it to the target URL, and with that you are just done. And just let me just refresh it. Yeah, now we see we have this read more here and here. Another option, what we can do is anyways, I just want to tell you on a very high level, like let's say so as of now, I've just displayed everything in as an flat fields I've displayed directly under this variant definition. But again, if you want to control something, you want to have a different structure for some set of fields and different structure for some set of fields. So what you can also do is you also have an option to insert a section, and let's say you don't call it as maybe let me just call it as banner section 1. You can just make it more user friendly and just move your URL to your section. Then what we can also do is we can also create another section here, and let's just call it as banner section 2, right? Click on OK, and then you just move your image there, right? And now with that, so we have two different sections created here, section 1 and section 2, and each section has one field. So if I go back to my page and try to reload it, you won't see any difference as such. But if you try to inspect and see how exactly it has been rendered, so you see like we have so we have this div, the first section, and then we have another section here as in two different things. So here we have this image populated, and here we have this target URL populated. Now you want to control something specifically on the URL part. Let's say you want to control your styles based on a specific section. What you can do here is you can just go to a specific section and then specify some class here. So let's say I just call it as section 1 class, and I call this as section 2 class, for example, right? And all these section 2 class and section 1 class is something which will be controlled by your SXA themes. So I'm not going to in the theme section for now, but yeah, all you just need to declare your class names, and then rest everything will be controlled by your themes. So once you declare your class names there, just go and refresh it, and let's just see what difference it will make. So yeah, you can see like we have your section 1 class and we have section 2 class. Similarly, let's say if you want to go beyond your section and you want to control something specifically on the element level, right? Let's say you want to have some specific class for your URL itself, for example. So what you can do, you can also go on the target URL and specify CSS class here. Let's say I call it as target URL class, right? Similarly, you also have data attributes. So let's say I want to I want to say that the mode of this is, for example, mobile, for example, right? This is an example, and just go back, try to refresh it and see. So now we have this target URL class. So now, because this is something which we have added specifically for this URL, so you can you can style it based on this class also. And there is also a data attributes called mode which has been added to this target URL. So now if I expand this one, we go here, so we see like we have the mode is mobile, which is set here as part of the data attribute. So yeah, you can, if you want to control something based on your data attribute, that also you can do. Yeah, and then if you want to you don't want to do something on section wise or field wise, you just want to do something on the on the variant level directly. So you have this, you can just go with your variant definition, and this is your variant link class, right? So if I refresh it now, I should see something, we have variant link class here, right? So now, which means you can define something based on variant link class, and it gets applied for everything inside it. So there, it's up to your requirement, and however you want to control how how many variants you want to create. You can create it, and you can style it differently based on themes. You can create as many fields you want. And as of now, as part of this demo, what we have seen is like we have seen how we can we can create rendering variants based on the available fields which we get out of the box with SXA. In the next video, we will talk about how we can extend out of the box SXA component. And let's say as part of this banner with link, if I go back to this data source item, this particular data source item supports only image, URL and caption. How about, let's say we want to add couple of more fields to the same component, right? So that is also possible without even writing a single line of code. So that is something we will see as part of our next video, where we will see how we can customize an existing SXA component. So I hope this will give you at least you get some understanding about rendering variants, and how we can create it, what different options we have for that, and what different fields we have to control it. And yeah, so we will see more about all these rendering variants in the coming section. And yeah, there are other things also, like this script template. So we will also talk about what script templates are, and then how you can make use of script template with the SXA component in the coming videos. So yeah, thanks guys for watching this. Thank you.